That's the president's backyard. That's the last thing we want out there.
The angle and location for the landing has been meticulously calculated for safety, ceremony, and the president's convenience.
What we're looking for out here when we set up is we want to align with the doors that go in the diplomatic room, exactly with the Jefferson Memorial down south, and that's what we're lining up on.
8 a.m. Marine One is due to pick up the president in 2.5 hours. The trip is an aerial relay race. First leg, Marine One will carry the president to Andrews Air Force Base. Air Force One will fly him to New York's Kennedy Airport. The last leg, another Marine One lift from JFK to downtown. The White House to Wall Street, 1 hour flat.
That's true.
20 minutes before takeoff, guests and the press corps are ushered into viewing areas around the South Lawn.
Every time we land on the South Lawn, there's hundreds of people out there that are seeing the president off or there to greet him.
At 10:24, right on time, the presidential white tops appear on the horizon. One helo heads straight for the landing pads. For the presidential pilot, the moment of truth has come.
Going into the South Lawn, you know, that's pretty nerve-wracking. You know, you think about the cameras that are on you, the number of people that are watching, and then who you're going in there to pick up or drop off.
First time I landed on the South Lawn, it was overwhelming. I couldn't believe I was doing it. We have to land on these little boards that are kind of small. I couldn't believe that I hit them. You try not to be overwhelmed with it because you still have a job to do, so you keep your focus, and then afterwards is when you sit down and go, you know, that was actually pretty cool, and I feel very lucky for being able to do it.
The crew chief drops the stairs, and the ritual march of presidential boarding begins.
You open the door, you step out, you don't know what's going to be there at your pivot point. You walk out 3 or 4 steps, make a turn, there might be a hole there. There's actually a hole in the South Lawn that we all try to avoid. And it's there, you know about it, but you never know when you're going to hit it because you're not looking down at your feet.
Marine One is not a single specific aircraft, but an exclusive presidential call sign. Only after the president steps aboard does this VH-3 become Marine One. The white top turns towards the southeast. Next stop, Andrews Air Force Base, home to the world's most famous plane.
Tango, start your right turn heading 100, climb maintain 5,000.
In the sky above Washington, 2 identical helicopters join the president's white top in an aerial dance of deception. A security tactic called the shell game. Wherever HMX-1 flies the president, doubles shadow Marine One's every move. A protective smokescreen to disguise which aircraft carries the man. Only the Marines know which of these green and white lookalikes transports the commander-in-chief. At Andrews Air Force Base, the world's most recognizable plane stands ready for takeoff. On board, her crew is poised and waiting for one special passenger.
Attention on board the aircraft, the president is 5 minutes out.
3 white tops appear on the horizon. Only one carries the boss. In the shell game, only one is Marine One.
There's a lot of stress involved in our job. It's not combat stress. You're not getting shot at. You're not worrying about supporting other Marines anywhere else. You're worried about supporting the President of the United States. That's a big load to carry.
Flight time, 45 minutes. Next stop, New York City. 4.8 miles south of the UN at the Wall Street heliport. Access to the pad is strictly controlled. Patrol boats sweep the harbor. Bomb-sniffing dogs and explosive experts check every vehicle. Secret Service counter-assault teams take position. The weather, mild. Wind out of the northeast. T-minus 22 minutes. At JFK, the helos of HMX-1 stand by, poised for liftoff. Marine One pilots and co-pilots take the field. Colonel LaRue will fly the president.
You walk into work every day with a smile on your face, not only because of the mission, because the mission's pretty cool, but as an old guy like myself that still gets to fly daily and strap on 3 or 4 different aircraft, it's absolutely exhilarating. Any helicopter pilot will tell you that it's probably the best thing you can do with 2 hands.
Air Force One begins final approach.
Cleveland Air Force One, flight level 330.
The pieces of the puzzle come together seamlessly.
11336, Air Force One passing 8.5 for 12000, heading 360. Air Force One on the center.
I think the gravity of this job really hits home when you're sitting there just chatting and then all of a sudden the big jet comes at you and the president walks down the stairs. So I think if anything, it makes you really sit up a little bit straighter and take your job a little more seriously. It's when those big engines are coming at you and that stair goes down.
You're standing there at attention for 30, 40 minutes at a time. You know, he says he's coming. He might stop and shake somebody's hand. He might work the rope line, and it may be 30 minutes before he gets there. You're subject to whatever, rain, snow, freezing cold, excruciatingly hot. It doesn't matter. You can't think about, I'm really cold right now, I want to scratch my nose or move my arms or something. You can't do that. So you just suck it up and deal with it.
The President of the United States is in the hands of Colonel Raymond LaRue.
Nighthawk, 1 and flight.
The lift is underway.
Doing this particular mission in Manhattan, first of all, it's a treat to fly around Manhattan. being one of the more majestic cities in our country, when you get to see New York City at 100 feet to 200 feet airborne, that's pretty exhilarating. But it's also very challenging in that some of the busiest airspace that this country has that we fly into. So we've got to always plan for contingencies as well.
JFK to Wall Street in under 10 minutes. At the Wall Street heliport, the pad is clear. The presidential motorcade waits for the last leg of the trip. The helos of HMX appear on the horizon. Now is the time for Frenchie and his team to earn their stripes. For this presidential mission, not one, but 4 helicopters must squeeze onto the pad. A concrete pier smaller than a football field. 2 troop carriers with press and support staff land first.
There's a certain portion during the final approach in a helicopter where you have to get into ground effect, which is an aerodynamic cushion of air, if you will. When you're coming in, landing on an elevated platform over water, you really don't get that help from that ground effect until you're actually on the ground.
Next to touchdown is a backup presidential white top. Only then does Marine One begin final descent.
When we get there, Wall Street pad is already clobbered with aircraft. Depending on how the winds are, we've got to get in there. We've got a very small space that we have to land in. You only get one shot at it. It's a zero-fail mission, and that's why we rehearse everything, so that on game day, we make it seamless.
Touchdown. The latest in a 51-year string of perfect landings. Once again, the Marines of HMX have delivered.
You'll go out there and you'll have the most important person in the entire United States 2 steps away from you. He salutes you as he walks on, he salutes you as he walks off. That's pretty humbling. He's saluting not only you, he's saluting the pilots that flew him, he's saluting the Marine Corps, he's saluting the United States every single time he walks on and off. And it is pretty amazing. It's a pretty humbling experience.
Now, the Secret Service takes over. The president boards his limo for a high-speed run uptown. Transit time from the White House to the UN, less than 90 minutes. Moments later, the helos take off and head for JFK to prepare for the next lift. They're due back on Wall Street in just 43 hours. 1,000 miles away, an HMX team is on the ground in Florida, locking down the next mission. In Quantico, the squadron is wrapping up for trips to Alabama and Kansas.
Even if there's not a scheduled lift plan, we'll take a helicopter wherever he goes. We're always there whether we're used or not. And yes, the President does always, if he rides on a helicopter, he rides on Marine One, a helicopter from this squadron.
This is the job of Marine One. A military mission that never ends.
Wherever he needs to go and whenever he needs to go, we'll be there.
It's a great honor. It's an awesome experience, and it's something I'm very proud to be able to do, and it's something that I would never have the opportunity to do anywhere else other than here.